Jesus has told me stories about his childhood, and they're so good. Hi, my name is Dakota Lee. I have a gift to see in the spirit. I'm a professional animal communicator, and God has been letting me visit heaven since I was 12 years old. Potentially my favorite part of this gift is having conversations with Jesus. He told me this one time he was probably 11 years old, and he remembered walking by some graves, and these were the graves that were carved into the hillside with the big stone on top. And he looked at that. Jesus told me that he even walked over and he felt the stone, and he felt how heavy it was that had been rolled in the front of the grave. And Jesus said that within him, he had this voice that this will not be the case for me. This stone will not lay here for me. And Jesus said that he kept that in his heart, and it was something that just told him somehow that death would not be permanent. But he could also feel in his own hands how heavy the stone was, that there was no way he could move it on his own. And so he knew it would be through God's influence. But something really fascinating that Jesus has told me is that he knew by the time he got to 30 years old when he started his ministry, he did know he was the Messiah for sure. He told everyone about it. Well, not everyone. He told a lot of people about it. He knew he was going to die. He knew it would be the people that betrayed him, the very ones that he was fighting to save and to heal. But what Jesus tells me is that he did not know if much of him was coming back after being killed and after being crucified. And I asked Jesus about this. It says in Matthew 20 in a few different places that Jesus said to his disciples, he's going to be killed, but then on the third day, he will rise back to life. And so I said, Jesus, you were saying that. And Jesus said, yes, but think about this. This had never happened before. Someone coming back to life. Just how much of Jesus was going to come back to life? Was it going to be the exact same Jesus with all his memories intact in the exact same body who would then maybe die at a later date, 70 years old instead of 33 years old? That was an option. Or would it be a Jesus that had a completely new body, and no memories because he was so made perfect from before. And so he was going to be so made brand new that he didn't even remember what he had been through. That was something also that could have happened. And if that, especially the second one, had happened where he didn't remember, then it would have felt potentially like a death. And Jesus said that he didn't know what was going to happen. Nobody knew that it would be Jesus with all his memories, with all his feeling of love for his people intact. But Jesus knew something was going to happen, and he was going to have to die. And in some ways, this meant he didn't know if he was coming back and what it would feel like. But he did know that he was going to have to do this. And that's why he pleaded so hard with God, is there any other way? In the Garden of Gethsemane, I think it was, before he had to be handed over to the Roman officials. Is there any other way? Do I have to die? And I think that speaks about the amazing faith that Jesus had in God, who was leading him to a death, and no one had been resurrected before. Well, Lazarus had, but didn't know exactly what it would look like to be resurrected on the other side. It's his amazing faith that he chose to do that for us. And I'm so glad that he was resurrected. All his memories are intact. Just thought that was an interesting moment of faith. He knew the prophecy, and he knew that he didn't know exactly what that would look like. And he still went with it anyway because he believed.